Hi guys, how we doing? It's Coach John here and welcome to this week's Whiteboard Wednesday. This one's going to be a special shout out to you Judo and Jits guys who have been asking questions around how you can properly set up your conditioning work to get the most out of your time on the mats. Now, biggest problem I typically see within Judo and Jits is the fact that everyone just wants to roll all the time. And I get that because it's the most fun we have in training if you're rolling or doing randori, but obviously it's not as applicable for developing your energy systems that I really want to, because there's a lot of other factors to go into it. So one, who you're rolling with. Are you rolling with an upper belt or doing randori with an upper belt who is just vastly superior to you and just mops the floor for you? Or are you rolling with someone who's less experienced than you and you're just trying out new techniques with them as well? You've also got to think about things such as the physical cost of doing a lot of rolling. So there's a lot more fatigue generated through your randori and your rolling, as well as there's a lot more wear and tear on the body for your joints as well. So we're going to look here at some of the more focused around conditioning things we can do away from the mat to help improve that performance. So what we're going to focus on here, well, with most fighters, we'll typically see them spend a lot of time up here at the specific level. So they'll try and replicate the demands of their match or choose movements that are very similar to their matches as well. And it's just replicating the work they'll do normally on the mat, and it's going to burn them out a lot quicker rather than spend a bit more time down here on the general side of things to build up a bigger base of that conditioning elements. And we're going to look here in depth at ways you can focus on the aerobic side of things as well as the anaerobic side to improve your training. For a complete breakdown of each energy system, look back at my other Whiteboard Wednesday video where I really break down the energy systems in detail, what they contain, how they use their energy differently, and like the time demands on each one as well. But for today, let's keep it simple and let's get into it. Okay guys, so when we're talking about aerobic capacity, there's two ways we can look to develop this. The more traditional route here is just your steady state continuous work. Now this can be anywhere between 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. So if you've got a heart rate monitor, slap that on and I'll give you a readout. If you don't and you just want to have a rough estimate, try and go on a scale of 1 to 10. You'd be about sitting 6 or 7 on that scale. Generally we look for a minimum for aerobic capacity work of 20 minutes up to about 60 minutes total. Now there's a few different factors that can play into this as well. So if you've got a larger body weight, like you're one of the heavyweights, probably shorter time duration is going to be a little bit better for you as opposed to 60 minutes, or your choice of modality you can go for is going to have to change as well. So you could be, instead of running for 60 minutes, you could hop on the exercise bike or the rower for 60 minutes and just keep that steady pace throughout for the set duration. If you don't want to do that and you want something that's going to entertain you a little bit more and keep you a bit more engaged, another option for you is tempo work. So this is just interval work at a given tempo of about 7 out of 10, or that's 70% effort. And this is just a mixture of cardiovascular exercise with some sort of body weight element to it as well. So the cardiovascular stuff I could choose would be either, say, skipping, running, rowing, on the bike, whatever. And then I would just simply hop off that bit of kit and then I'll come do a body weight exercise. This can just be simple things like press ups, it could be some abdominal work, it could be neck work, it could be grip work, whatever you want, but it's not going to be massive that it's going to break down the body like we would with traditional interval training. So you can do this for a set number of reps when you come off. So you'd say, look, I'm going to hit the rower for 45 seconds, okay? And I'm going to cover 250 meters in that 45 seconds. Let's just make sure when you're doing your intervals, you are coming in on time for 45 seconds for those 250 meters every one. So the first rep all the way to your 10th, 12th rep, it's still finishing the same, okay? We don't want to see any breakdown. And then once you hop off that kit, you can come out and you can just do some body weight work for a set number of reps, say 20 reps, like 20 press ups, 20 crunches, 20-second neck hold, something like that. Or you can break it down for time. So a simple thing you can do if your stopwatch is, right, I'm going to set it for 45 seconds work with 15 seconds off as a recovery. And I can do that on the bike. Say I hop on, I cycle for 45 seconds at a 7 out of 10 effort. Once that time expires, I hop out and I've got 15 seconds to get myself set, and I'll do 45 seconds of ab work or 45 seconds of grip work, something like that. And I'll just alternate back and forth from those two elements for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, or all the way up to 60 minutes, depending on how well conditioned you are. Okay, and then that generally covers our aerobic capacity base, and we'll now look a little bit at more alactic and lactic capacity work. Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about lactic capacity work. This is where most people try and spend most of their training time without first developing that big aerobic base. So this is more so the icing on the cake after you've developed that big component of aerobic capacity. So for lactic stuff, was that it's sustained high effort for prolonged durations of time. So this could be stuff like a hard match, like 30 seconds or so in the match, or it could be like scramble for top position, these sort of things. Okay, so it's your ability to cope with these high intensity efforts. But the big problem I typically see with guys when they set together their program is they go hard every session and there's no real progression through it. So we're going to break that down a little bit here. So if I look at the time element for it, I can say, look, I want you to work as hard as you can for 30 seconds, and then you're going to have 30 seconds recovery, and that's in week 1. Week 2, we're going to suddenly increase that level of work and decrease your rest period, so that would jump you up to 35 seconds of work and only 25 seconds recovery. And then week 3, we can come in and we can just plow into 40 seconds of all-out effort, and you're only going to get 20 seconds of recovery. I'd usually repeat that 5 times in a cycle. So there'd be like a 5-minute round there, and then they're going to get a prolonged 5 minutes off recovery, just so they can come back in a little bit fresher for the next 5-minute bout. Exercise choice wise around this, you can choose several things. It could be simple bodyweight stuff as a jump squat for 30 seconds continuously, all out effort. It could be burpees, it could be like, hanging recline rows, hanging off the judo gi, med ball press ups with your hands on the ball, or like transferring over the ball, or you could go back to your cardio kit as well. So it could be on the rower for all out effort for that 30 seconds or 40 seconds. It just depends what's available to you in the space and what's going to be the best fit for you as well. So we've talked a little bit about aerobic capacity and lactic capacity, but let's talk a little bit now about exercise testing, because a lot of the time within judo and jits, it's very subjective. When we talk about someone's fitness with rolling, it's like, all right, I feel good now. I've put in a long period leading up to comp, so I'm feeling fit. Well, what does that mean exactly? What does being fit and ready to fight mean? And how's that compared to with your previous fitness levels for other competitions or other training cycles as well? So let's give ourselves some tangible numbers to actually really focus on here next. Okay guys, so for conditioning tests and grapplers, I really like the 2 kilometer row. Just because it involves both the upper body and lower body to be really demanding and pushing and pulling like we would do within a jits or judo contest, but also the time span for you to complete that is going to be a bit closer to what you would expect within a jits or judo match as well. So what are some of the standards you should be generally aiming at? So I've broken it down here by lightweight, middleweight and heavyweight, and I've provided a range for both male and female rather than just a definitive number to be aiming for. So for female lightweights, this is anywhere around about 48 to 52 kilos. You want to be coming in at 805 to be really in high level conditioning, up to about 835. For middleweight women, this is around about anywhere between 57 to 70 kilos. 7 minutes and 19 seconds up to 8 minutes and 10 seconds should be enough to get you at a really good conditioning level. And for the heavyweights, 7 minutes 24 up to about 7 minutes 42 for that. As for the guys, for lightweights, anywhere between 60 to 70 kilos, coming in about 7 minutes and 9 seconds, or up to 7 minutes and 28 seconds. For middleweights, guys who are about 70 kilos to 85, 90 kilos, you want to be pulling that in about 6 minutes 37, up to about 7 minutes and 7 seconds. And for the bigger guys, the heavyweight class, you really want to be pulling that in at 6 minutes 22 seconds, or just shy of 7 minutes at 6 minutes and 58 seconds. Now for the heavyweights, the reason the times are a little bit lower is just because by virtue of being bigger, they've got a longer frame to pull the rower through, so they cover distance a lot quicker. Plus their added body weight really helps with the power output within rowing as well, compared to some of the lighter weights who just don't have that same length of the pull. Yeah, but this is just to give you guys an idea of some of the numbers you should be aiming for, and gives you a definitive, very objective score you can keep track of over time and say, right, going into this comp, where am I at compared to last comp with regards to my fitness, rather than relying on subjective measures like, well, I think I'm fit, I still felt good-ish on the 3rd round or 4th round, okay? Okay guys, first of all, thank you very much for watching. If you found some value in this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Please feel free to share this video across your team members and other guys within your academy. And please check us out at our website at monarchhumanperformance.com, where we have a range of articles on grappling sports as well as some interesting products you guys could find useful for your training as well. Okay guys, until next week, speak to you soon.